What's up, everybody? This is Greg Birch with Delta Financial, and this is the Be the Difference podcast. This podcast is all about making you a better person in your life and in your business with coaching on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, everything under the sun when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And we bring on guest speakers. Today, we've got the honor and pleasure of welcoming with me Mr. Kevin Vega. Kevin, how you doing, big guy?
Doing fantastic, man. I was waiting to hear the.
I didn't do it this time. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just like, I'm going to do something different this time. So, you have to forgive me for those of you watching. My allergies are kicking in hard. So if I'm sniffling, I apologize ahead of time.
It's been hitting me too, man. There's something going around.
Yeah, it's got to be because even Alex was having issues, and so I think it's like in the air with the weather beats me. I don't know, but so Kevin, what do you want to talk about today?
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about the other day why the military implemented something like the Warrant Officer Corps. So in the military, there was a big gap in career progression of individuals that really just wanted to do their job. They loved their job so much that they just wanted to continue doing it. And when you transition from an NCO or soldier to an officer, the scope of your work is more leadership focused than actually doing your job. And I was thinking how that really applied into this industry. And, you know, we go on social media and all we see are people talking about wanting to build teams, massive agencies. I'm going to build, but don't realize that in order to lead those people, you have to be proficient at what it is that you do.
Yeah. At the thing that you're going to be building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like trying to hire a general contractor to do work in your house that hasn't done any of the work. So they don't know what to inspect.
Yeah.
Expect what you inspect, right? But if you don't know what the hell you're doing, how is anything going to get done? And we see this all over this industry. And there's just a huge gap in this industry of people that just want to produce, that just love producing and serving others. And
there's a lot of people that do that. Don't get me wrong.
There are, but they're not. Those are the people that are not on social media that just keep their heads down and do their own thing, and they're happy doing that. And kind of one of the challenges for us is how do we not only create that internally from the agents that we have, but as an organization, how do we approach, appeal, and attract those individuals? You know,
honestly, I think you build it from the ground up. It's kind of like So I'm a big fan, obviously, of Andy Frisella and First Form, and on his MFCEO project podcast and Really F, he talks a lot about his company and his culture and core values and how he built that. Because a lot of people will go visit him. They're like, dude, you have some rock stars. How did you attract them? He's like, dude, I don't attract rock stars. I build them.
Correct. Absolutely.
So,
and even when you look at the recruiting for the military, they don't attract those type of people. The Warrant Officer Corps is built from prior NCOs that just love it.
They're
and
good.
Continue
Good at what they're doing.
Yeah, good. They were excellent, and they wanted to continue to be excellent.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think you got to build it. So it really is like what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing, and you have to have a system and a structure in place that when you bring people in, they enjoy the process. It's focused on excellence. You know, you challenge them in the appropriate way, or you challenge and reward. It's kind of like that drive and desire leadership facet that I talk about between competition, or will drive kind of like their discipline, getting shit done, versus desire, like enjoying what they do, having fun, you know, work hard, play hard, basically. You kind of got to like balance that enough that people feel as if they are they're being challenged, and they have that competitive piece that helps to drive them for excellence. And with enough success, and they see that there's a valid pathway that they can continue to have that success and continue to make really good money, and go at scale, there's no reason why they wouldn't want to do it. It's just, you know, I think sales is being taught wrong, in my opinion, in most companies.
Yeah.
Like building a book of like a lot of pieces, because there's so much when it comes to sales. It's not just getting in front of clients and providing them a service. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's so much more than that. So it's actually like maintaining a book of business.
Yeah.
That
Persistency is way more than just somebody signing the policy over and you getting that commission check.
if you focus more, exactly, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head. Retention is more important than acquisition. If you focus more on retention and you really focus on having a unbelievable client or customer experience, what's going to happen is that you take care of these people in such a fantastic way where every step of the process is, from the time that you meet up with them, throughout the process you spend your time really living in the world of your adversary, or of the client, the person sitting across from you, understanding their position, asking good questions, um, and then finding a perfect solution based on the information they gave you. Well, then what's going to happen is that they're going to appreciate the process, right? They're going to, and especially if you show enthusiasm during that, what happens is you allow them to become enthusiastic about what they're getting provided, which gives them an opportunity, or kind of reinforces that they can share this with other people. And then you cap that off with a very strong retention process. You know, dude, something as simple as, and people talk about it all the time, but I know agents don't do it. Do a handwritten note to the clients that you sit with. And I'm not talking about getting a pre-printed card that you send them with your name, with when you just sign. I'm talking a friggin' handwritten thank you card that is unique to them. It's unique to their experiences. It's unique to the stuff that you learned about them in there during your appointment. It took you time, and that right there, like, if you think about it, when's the last time you ever received a card from a salesperson? Like, if you bought a car or something like that, and they sent you a card, if they sent you a card that was pre-printed with, like, you know, the BMW stock, and it's just a pre-print like, "Thanks for being a BMW customer," what would you do with that card?
Oh, dude, it's terrible. So, my father-in-law works for a particular company. I'm not going to name drop the company. He's been there for over a decade. I think this was like his 11th year or something like that. He got a card, a pre-printed card that was exactly that. And it was the most hollow thing. It's like, congratulations on your 11th anniversary. And it had the pre-printed like signature of like the president on it. And it was bad. It was super bad.
Straight in the trash, bro.
Yeah.
No one's keeping that. But if someone sends you get a handwritten card, where you can tell it's handwritten, and then they open it up, and on the back you write something nice, on the flap, you open it up, it pulls it out, and it's just like, hey, I had such an amazing time sitting down with you and being able to help you and your family. I really loved learning about what your concerns were, everything about your family, telling me all about your kids and them going off to college really inspired me, because my daughter's going off to college too. It was a great conversation. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for trusting me to be able to protect what's most important to you. I'm going to be here forever. I'm always here. If you ever need me, you have my cell phone number, reach out anytime, but I'll be reaching out to you just to make sure that everything's good, consistently, just to, keep in touch. Yours truly, Greg, right? Are you gonna, most likely, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be like, that's really kind, because they know it took you time. They knew this wasn't the most efficient thing. Like, you took your time out of your day to handwrite this card and go stick it in the mailbox. And they're more likely to like hang it up or show somebody. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And how many people actually respond? Like, hey, I got the card. Thank you. That
Yeah.
was, that's so awesome. That was very sweet.
Yeah.
Think about it with Christmas cards too. That's like a dying thing that people do.
Yeah.
Some people, I still get Christmas cards from, certain individuals. And what do? I put them on the fridge
Yeah.
because you want to look at those things that people do that are at that kind of level. You're connecting with somebody, and we talk about this all the time. That's an art that is so lost on the generation of sales professionals today.
Well, doing stuff like that, and that's just one thing you can do, but doing stuff like that that's inefficient, that takes time. No, the value is in the inefficiencies. Value is in the inefficiencies, especially when it comes to client retention. So doing that kind of stuff, you have a client that's going to be more likely to just stay with you for life. And then they're going to talk about it. And you spend your time really taking care of people, they're going to go out and sell for you. They're going to tell their friends about you. They're going to be your biggest advocate. They're going to talk about you to clients, other clients, you know, their family members, friends, acquaintances, coworkers, etc. And if you were to get 100 people that you like really did this process with, you would have a self-feeding book of business for the rest of your life. Period.
Absolutely.
Period.
Ask anybody that's been successful in this industry for over a decade,
Yeah.
and they always say, hey, you really only need, what is it, 170 people in your book of business that are solid exactly like that because of what exactly you're talking about. They're going to consistently be talking to their second and third person network about the services that you provide and how you helped them.
Yeah.
And you're consistently going to have this referral funnel.
And you know, there's other pieces of the sales process that you want to add in. Like one more that I'm going to add. And this is just a little nugget of knowledge for y'all. You know, you gotta sell them things that don't benefit you. Okay, or help them with things that don't benefit you. For instance, when I was doing sales, when I first started sales funnels, creating my own, my biggest funnel that I used the most and was very successful with was veterans for all services, because I'm a veteran myself. And what I realized is that anytime I sat with a veteran, it was like a easiest conversation in the world. It was just like, this is a sale. We told a couple of war stories, we laughed, and I'm like, all right, bro, this is what I'm gonna do. And he was like, okay, whatever. They just sign, good. So it was always the best and easiest conversations. Now, what I found was when I did a funnel on veterans, and I talked a lot about my funnel, talked a lot about VA and the coverage that the VA does and does not do. So I got a lot of people that would sign up to get to speak with me, and they thought I was part of the VA, but I'm not. However, I could have at that point be like, hey, I'm not with the VA, can't help you with that. But instead, I went the extra mile and said, okay, well, let's look up see if I can find out who the VA rep is in that area, because you can find that. And I'd find the VA rep. I would connect them with the VA rep. I would tell a little story of what they told me to the VA rep so that they're connected. And then I would make sure that they're good to go. Like, it wasn't a lot of extra steps, but most people be like, hey, I'm not the VA. I can't help you. You're going to have to go to your VA rep. And they would end it there. Instead, I was like, let me see if I can help you. Like, I can't be the person that does this, but I can find the person that does this. I'm going to get you guys connected so that you're ready to rock and roll. Give me all the details. I would take notes. I would do an email and find out. I'd get them connected. And then, but here's the thing. Now I'm a resource for them because I'm like the guy. I'm the guy. They're like, oh man, yeah, dude, this guy can help you with anything. Like, he knows how to go here. He can do this. He can do that. The other. So anytime that a question comes up, they're sitting around the dinner table Thanksgiving. They're like, oh man, you know somebody that can get us into this. And they're like, oh, I got a guy. Hold on. And then I'm the person that they're calling because I'm that person that can come in no matter what the situation is, and I can help solve a problem, or I can just lead them down the right path. Right. Even though it doesn't gain me any money, but I'm the guy for that client. What happened was, when every single time that I did something like that, I always got a referral. I got a family that either they still purchased, or they would send me like their kids and be like, hey, you got to sit with our kids, got to help them out. But while you've been great, right? When you put people first, you will get paid back, but you have to do it for the right reasons. You have to do it because you truly want to be of service without any expectation of reciprocity. You cannot be like, oh, well, I'm waiting for them to. The only reason I'm doing this is because you got to get me like your kids to freaking write business on. It doesn't work that way. So you got to have the right intentions when you do it. But just think about, if you're the name, if you're like the guy for your client, and anytime they need something, they call you. You know, like they're like, dude, I'm looking for a good accountant. You got one? Actually, I do got a good accountant, actually, for my business. They do nationwide. I can get you helped out. Hold on. I'm gonna get you connected. Boom. Like,
Yeah.
you become a resource, right? And you do that for 100 people. I promise you, you'll never work another day in your life in terms of acquisition.
And
Because
prospecting.
they're
Yeah.
they're going to get the clients for you. They're going to make referrals. You're just going to be self-generating, having people come in, doing the same exact thing and building and building and building. The problem is that everyone's like, well, I can just get some leads, right? Which you can. All right. But it becomes the rat race of just buying leads, selling leads, buying leads, selling leads, in, out, in, out, in, out. See how many leads can I sell as fast as humanly possible to make as much of as much of an income to then buy more leads and continue to scale that way. Well, I don't know if you guys understand this, but eventually leads will leads will have to be recycled. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's only so many people in the United States. There's only so many. So no matter what source, each source has a different age range and a different like target audience for different reasons. But eventually that source is going to hit max capacity and then just start recycling that data.
Yep. The point of diminishing returns.
Yes.
Exactly. And every new method that comes out, there's an early adopter phase for people to get in good. And then as more people adopt it and start purchasing those leads, that source will dry up. Look at Facebook. When Facebook first came out and being able to generate leads from it, it was okay. But then the market started to get oversaturated.
Yeah.
Every method goes through that.
Yeah. Right now, TikTok's the new like lead generation, but you know, it just depends on the company and how they're doing it. So I've seen a lot of people be very successful with lead generation off TikTok that are doing it personally without any business, not paying for it, but doing themselves just by generating content consistently. But this is just something to think about in order to scale your business and become exceptional sales. And I promise you, you start doing sales like this, you start having like really good service, an exceptional customer experience, becoming the guy, understanding your client in an intrinsic level, building out a very effective and out of this world kind of client retention funnel at the back end. And what you're going to find, you're going to enjoy the process more. You're going to have a lot more success. You're going to have less cancellations, significantly less cancellations. You're going to have significant amount of referrals. People, and here's the thing, you're doing well if you get referrals without asking for them. If people are sending people to you, your clients are sending new clients to you without you being like, hey, can you send me some referrals? Like that's how you've done it right, which you can do it that way. Okay. Anybody can do it that way. And think about it. All of us talk about things that we purchase or experiences we've been a part of in order to share with people. Anytime is it exceptional in order to recommend another person do it because it validates our buying decision. You go to a nice restaurant and it's awesome and you had a great date night. What do? You talk about that with all your coworkers on Monday from your Friday night date night. Man, it was the best. Steak was awesome. Like friggin' they came out and the chef like just sliced it off and just stuck a sliver of right in my mouth for me. It was awesome.
Sprinkled the salt right on it.
Sprinkled the salt right off. It was his elbow, man, right in my mouth, bro. Like that's what happens, right? So then you talk about it. And then when people are like, oh, this is awesome, it makes you seem interesting. And then what happens is that they go and then they come and talk about it too, which validates the fact that you went and bought it because now they like it too, which makes you the man too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this happens all the time. You go see a movie, same thing happens. You go to a great restaurant, this happens. You buy a new product, you buy the new phone, this happens. You buy a new laptop, this happens. Like you do it with all of your buying decisions that you really do appreciate, that you love. Okay. Even with insurance. I promise you, there's ways that you can make this an exceptional process, that you can change the way that everyone sees it, the way your client sees it, not as just like a humdrum, like, oh, I gotta do because I gotta protect my family. And then they never think about it again. And you are the friggin' man. You can do this. Okay. The problem is that we're not, because we're so interested in like, well, I got to go to like my other appointment is in 5 minutes and the next appointment. And I'm just stacking my schedule up. Believe me, I used to do the same shit. I used to do the same thing, right? When I was in the field. And then when I started to do more remote sales, I found it was much better to maintain a relationship. I'm telling you, it's night and day different.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The stress of trying to navigate traffic to get to that next appointment. Like there's so much time that you can allocate towards the full service picture
Yeah.
that you're talking about when you do remote sales. That's one of the greatest benefits of being able to do remote sales. You get back a lot of that time that you can now reinvest into building those relationships with your clients.
So
It's funny that we having this conversation because as we're talking about it, I'm like, how often did we do that when we were company commanders? When there was just a problem that needed to be solved or a
oh,
service,
dude,
something,
all the
something
time.
that we could provide that was like, you know what, here, I got you. I know a dude or I know how this process works.
Yeah.
Let me guide you through it.
And that's what I mean. That's all we were. My first sergeant when I was in company command was basically like his motto and his belief was that we were like a second mom and dad to all the soldiers, and it was just like, dude, like our jobs are to like make their problems as easy as possible, like give them problem solving solutions while also challenging them to improve, and like always be an example for them. And so, man, first sergeant, he was a dope dude. I miss him. I haven't seen him in a
Yeah.
while. He
Because
was,
we were, man. Their parents were entrusting us to take care of their children.
yeah,
And we understand it. We understood exactly what that meant. And trying to translate that into this industry and other sales organizations, it's a challenge, but that's the mentality that you have to have. These families are entrusting you not just to get them a great product, they're entrusting you to be a lifelong advisor for
mhm,
them, the person that they can go to whenever they have problems.
absolutely. And to kind of wrap this up, um, Kevin, you started talking about, having those, like building those individuals from the get go that really just enjoy the sales process and are good at it. And like, they want to be a master at the sales process. They're not just like, well, I sold for like 6 weeks though. Now I'm going to build a massive agency and I'm going to be a millionaire. Bro, you're a dime a dozen. I'm just telling you, like, and I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to do that. But what I'm telling you is that you're a small fish in a pond full of 1,000 other small fish, like hundreds of thousands of other small fish, and you're all trying to become the big one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the likeliness is just not going to be there. You're going to have to do something that sets you apart, that's going to make you different, and a reason why people want to come join your team versus every other person's team. And you're not going to be able to help them like in the way that they're going to need help. So it's the same thing. It's retention versus acquisition. If you can recruit somebody and you can retain them and you can get them writing and you can provide value and service and they love being a part of it, that is a lot stronger than you having to be like, well, I can hire 1,000 people. Yeah. But if you hire 1,000 people and 5 stay, why the hell do I care about you hiring the other 995? What's the point of that? Like that, and that mentality of like big numbers, it's in sales and leadership across the board, and that's why you're having that issue. Go back and rethink about how you're doing things. Think about doing something in the best possible way with the most value, with the highest return, and like it's going to be inefficient for you. Like I've heard people be like, "Well, I can't really do handwritten note cards, so I hire my admin to do it because I have so many clients."
You don't.
You don't have the many clients, and that's lazy. You're being lazy. Don't hire somebody else to do it. It needs to be from you, right? And you're like, well, they don't know the difference. I don't care. It needs to be from you. You know what I'm saying? Because your admin is not going to write the same way that you're going to write, and they're going to like you can also tell tonality in writing that you can tell like, oh, this is the person I sat with and talked to for an hour, right, or
Mhm.
2 hours or whatever. You know, it's doing the extra work in order to stand out above the crowd. And if you're just trying to do the bare minimum in order to be able to recruit and have $1 million agency, shit ain't gonna happen.
No,
I'm just
definitely.
I'm just being honest with you. Shit ain't gonna happen. But if you want to be exceptional at sales, what's gonna happen? And you want to help to change the way that people see it around you, you're gonna attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're gonna build almost automatically because people are gonna want to be around that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, intrapreneur or solopreneur. You don't go out to make a profit. You go out to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, Kevin, this is a good discussion. I appreciate you coming on and talking about
I
this
love
stuff.
doing this, man.
So, for those of you watching, if you got any value from it, which I know you did, then do me a favor. I always ask help from all of you because we grow this channel by word of mouth. So if you got value from this, if you learned anything, if some of the things that Kevin and I shared help to spark an idea or change your way of thinking, share this content with another person that's also in sales that might be able to grow or learn from it. And you never know, you sharing that content might be something that kind of changes their perspective, where they look and say, man, this is exactly what I was looking for. And you could be the catalyst in that change. So we're trying to basically become a difference in this industry and all sales in order to help people with providing valuable content on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, in order to make an overall difference and change in the way that entrepreneurs are doing business. So I ask you humbly, review, rate, share the content, especially we're trying to grow the Apple podcast section right now. If you could do it, I'd be eternally grateful. It would take you 60 seconds and I'd be forever grateful. So with that being said, this has been the Be the Difference podcast. I'm your host, Greg Birch. Until next time, deuces. We'll see you.